Sexy People Podcast is Dan Frigolette. Part 2 of the Lexi Luna episode begins in just a second here. I wanted to once again remind everybody that we've been flagged on YouTube for including links to our guests' work. It's a new flag, and it's put us in peril. We might lose that page. So please go to Dan Frigolette and subscribe there, and we'll continue to put the episodes there and give you all the content that you need and want. We're also available, of course, everywhere podcasts are for the audio version of this podcast. Thank you for listening and watching. And then, and then whatever demon that you have that you're hiding from doesn't have to grow. It can shine the light on it.
It's like a gremlin, as long as you don't feed it after midnight.
Yeah, well, because I think part of the reason why I started this podcast was I had trouble in my own life, like reconciling the slutty parts of me and whether or not it was like okay, you know,
for sure. And for guys, totally different stigma being slutty than for girls.
Yeah, but yes and no, because that's only speaking to being slutty with guys. So it's like it's positive to be slutty with guys, but if you're slutty and you're a guy and you want to date girls and they think that you're slutty, that also
right, it impacts it negatively.
Hurts your thing. You know, like being like, oh, he's like. I was somebody who even like came out of college and like I'd been with 2 girls and like, but I gave off a persona for whatever reason that like,
you were like,
if I say something genuine that I'm using that line everywhere. And it's like, no, this is one, I don't even know I'm hot yet. I'm 20, I have no idea that I'm hot. I have no idea, like, and not that I'm the hottest person, but like, I didn't have any confidence that like I could achieve. Like,
that you're an attractive male who could find an attractive female. Yeah.
Right. And
the most normal acceptance of relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel,
Right.
I didn't know it was pretty for a long time, and in college, I like started wearing makeup in college.
Yeah.
Like that's the level of didn't know.
Yeah.
Right. So, and you know, I was in a small town and all that kind of thing, but in college I started like, sexually exploring myself.
Yeah.
And with
what was your oh shit? What was your like? Holy shit, I'm hot.
I think it was the night that I took 3 guys home from the bar at different times.
Yeah.
Same night.
So you got some ass. You went
back.
And
I was like, oh my god.
You got some ass. Went back.
I could literally just point to any of you in your mind.
Yeah.
And it was almost like magical pussy syndrome, but not really because I felt like it was all facial beauty that they were interested in.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they wanted to like fuck me and it didn't matter how I looked.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I think it was just from not having any experience in picking up guys. Like I was in my early baby 20s.
And even still, I'll be in an interaction with a woman where they feel like they're not supposed to be forceful. I was just like, wait for me to do a thing.
Yes.
And it's like, and we're still.
It's like you can take what you want.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
either gender.
I'm ready. Just come get. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like as a female, like it's almost hotter if you are like, I know what I want and I want you to kiss me and I'm gonna make that move on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
and it kind of takes away from, I'm assuming from the man's perspective that like, oh, does she want it? Does she not want it? Like, am I coming on too strong? Right. Is this too much? Like, is this a little?
I'm horny. This is my girlfriend. Can I even ask her, or is that like toxic male shit?
For sure. Yeah. No, you guys deal with as much as we do, and it's. The thing about chemistry is so interesting because we both feel it, but nobody wants to act on it.
Yeah. It's strange. Yeah. It's like, is it wrong to be like, I need my dick sucked before I leave the house? Like, it's like, you know, it's like,
can I request this? Is this something I can do?
And you know, and luckily I've found sexual dynamics where we can just go. She's like, you know, I need to get my pussy in before I go to like the bar. Great, let's go.
Yeah.
How much time do you have? Great, 8 minutes. Let's go.
A little pre-dinner.
Yeah. Sit on my face. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I want that for people more than anything else.
Yeah. I want people to understand that it's okay to be that. Not every sexual experience has to be sex. It doesn't have to be penetration.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like this hours-long thing. You can just get off real quick, go to dinner, and come back and do other shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's totally fine. Sex does not have to be penetration and always just, like, forever long, like, this romantic feeling. It doesn't have to be all that. You can just get your rocks off and go to dinner.
And finding... I guess this is the thing I want to say, but I don't know how to say. I don't want to say it like this, but I'm going to say it like this. I think people are fucking the wrong people, to a certain extent. So, like, what happens is... when you find like a person where the chemistry is really good, like you can get each other off fast, like you're saying.
Right.
and then you just like, you know, and that's kind of who you're supposed to be fucking.
I will say after a little while, you can get each other off fast, because at the beginning it's like, does she like this? Does she not like this? Is she putting on a show to make you feel like she likes this?
Right.
You know, all those things are really big factors.
Yeah, you're playing like chicken with their body.
Yeah, and that's never fun. Just communicate with your partner. It's so much easier if you just tell them what you want and then they do it.
Yeah, and then because then it did create this dynamic where women are waiting for you to do something, and then guys become this forceful thing, which then goes the wrong way, because they're like, she pulled my thumb out of her butt, but she wants it, so I'm going to do it 3 more times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that thing, that non-communication thing, this dance that we've been doing for hundreds of years has made some problems.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, just tell them.
I think a lot of things can be solved in the world with just communication. Open and honest communication.
We're doing a thing. I'm at a writer's workshop for comedians, and I'm there as one of the veteran people or whatever. And there's a younger comic, and they're like, and they do a bit, and it's funny, but they don't really know why it's funny. And I like sum up the thing, and I go, what it seems like you're saying is this bit is about blah 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 blah. And he goes, yeah. And I go, so just say that. Yeah. And it was like, oh, I didn't know you could just
say the thing that you mean.
Say the thing.
Yeah, I know. I think that also comes with age. You know, you get more open, and you don't give a shit more as to how it might be perceived. Because I, for a long time in my early 20s, was very worried about the way I'd be perceived if I said something that was slutty, if I said something that was off topic, if I said something that was taboo, if I was into something that was sexy.
Sure. I'm there. I mean, I'm still there sometimes, and I don't know if it is age. I don't like to blame age.
No, I think our experiences and our age, as we get older, we get more confident.
I blame the year, though. I'll be like, okay, we can say that because it's 2022, but you might be right. You might be right that you've been around long enough to know personally that you have the confidence. But in my head, I'm always like, no, the world has changed, and now you can say it. But I think you're right.
I think the world only changes as we get older.
Yeah.
Because the world is the same for our
guess
parents.
Yeah.
Right? They still have that same mindset.
Yeah.
They've not changed. We only change as we get older.
But that's the problem, and it's like, so I'll say the thing to my parents, and then they can't handle dealing with this thing. I'm in therapy, I'm trying to deal direct communication with my parents.
And they're like, what is this direct communication you're doing?
I thought I had to go, you're full of shit, that's the first move. And that's where I end up, that's why I'm...
And then you're like, fuck, my therapist didn't help me with this.
Right.
Come back.
Right. Well, I was telling you, it's like I'm in that sweet spot where I know that I'm wrong, and I can't fix it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get to the part where I can fix it.
You know, we're all just a work in progress, and give yourself a little bit of grace.
I think that's important, and that's what you said about the relationships. Relationships are a progress, and maybe they change over time, and maybe certain things move, and so we have to be open to that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think we get stuck in, well, he used to do this, or she used to do that, and now it's different, and maybe that's fine.
And different is fine, and if it's different to the point where you still love each other in the core, but maybe you're not doing this same amount of activities that you were before, and you really like to go play pinball or arcade games, and they're just not really into that anymore.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can find somebody who really does like to do that, but you like them more than a friend. So then then you're building this relationship. I mean, anybody we talk to in our lives, we're building relationships with, regardless of romantic or not.
Yeah.
So, it's okay to have relationships that are romantic and aren't romantic, as long as you're communicating.
Give me more cream cheese. So, I guess so. I'm still trying to figure out how to verbalize it. This is the thing we're having trouble with, I think, societally. It's like, how do we explain to somebody that there are multiple forms of love? How do we explain to somebody that there are reasons to, like, that there's no reason they need to be jealous? Because I really can't. I'm just trying to understand how to break down jealousy. That, like, what's the concern of jealousy?
Here's the thing about jealousy. For me, it was always like,
and you said you've formally been jealous.
I have formally been jealous. It's because I wasn't getting my needs met, but I couldn't verbalize what my needs were because I didn't know what they were.
So you were low key inside, kind of pissed
that I wasn't getting the amount of attention that I thought I should be getting,
and therefore,
but I didn't know that it was the attention that was the problem. I thought it was some other factor that was like, oh, she's prettier than me, or oh, she's, older than me, or whatever it might be. She's a spinner and I'm not.
So was the spinner? So was the jealousy a projection?
I think so. I think absolutely. And once I realized that what I really needed was for the person to give me that phone call at the time they agreed to do it.
Yeah.
Or for that person to set aside time for me. And that once I got that fill, the jealousy ended. But I didn't know how to communicate that until I knew how to communicate that.
Yeah. Well, and so I'm stuck. So we talk about poly, and it makes me feel good. And then, but I'm stuck in a world that wants me to be monogamous. And I'm stuck in a world where, I'm in therapy with a person who believes that there should be one person that should meet all your needs. So then I'm stuck again. So it's like, so how many needs as a person who's poly should I want to have fulfilled?
You deserve to have all your needs fulfilled.
And how many, and how do I know, like, so this is the part that messes my brain. So you're like, okay, so I'm going to take on people to fulfill all my needs. How little of a need does somebody have to fulfill to be part of my poly pod?
Right.
How do I know?
That's the tricky part.
Well, how do you know? How do you know?
You feel it. You talk about it. And I know I keep saying communication, but it really is the only tool we have to grow. I mean, the reason that when you go to a therapist you feel better is because you've talked about it.
Right.
And it really is, as long as you can commit to listening to all the communication and not judging it, then you'll make progress. But if you start to hear somebody communicate with you and because you got to think, the person who's communicating is putting themselves on the line.
They're very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. And if you dismiss that, they'll never want to do it again.
Right.
So being open to hearing it and synthesizing, understanding, taking it in, and not immediately reacting, especially if you have a negative reaction. Not saying, well, you shouldn't be because of this.
Yeah, we get very defensive.
That's not helpful. Defensive,
right?
yeah.
And we invalidate what someone's saying.
Exactly. And their feelings are valid. Like, that's what they're feeling. It's, they can't help it. And being open to accepting that and working forward and moving forward towards a resolution, whatever. And sometimes the resolution is we can't be together. And that's okay.
Yeah, my Eric, who produces on this podcast, one of the things I call him as like my coach, mediation for like whatever, and he's like, okay, well, and he knows what I do wrong, and he's like, when somebody says something to you, believe them. Yeah. When somebody tells you how they feel, believe them, because I'm always looking to poke holes in it. Like, well, you can't feel that way
because I've done these things.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not about you.
Right. Believe them.
Yeah.
And that's. It's a hard thing.
It is a hard thing, and especially when that's not the training you've had your whole life.
But for whatever
changing
reason,
your viewpoints is a big work.
Right. Well, and the big one for me at one point was I did something that was very innocuous, and it offended somebody who I was dating, and it really hurt their feelings. And eventually I realized, oh, well, the only reason to apologize, the only thing that matters is that I don't want to have hurt your feelings. So my intent in what I did isn't relevant, and like whether or not I do it again or how I felt when I was doing it isn't relevant. It hurt you. So
and
now,
I apologize for that, for making you feel that
I
way.
want to make you whole again.
Yeah.
And it's not going to take a piece of me away to make you whole, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take that step.
It takes a lot of progress to get to that statement you just made.
And it's hard, but it's hard.
But, like, look at the growth. Like, from 5 years ago to now, like, I see you growing.
Who was I 5 years ago?
You were this, like, lost little comedian who wanted to talk to porn stars and prove to everybody else that, like, they have feelings too, but at the same time, you were kind of figuring that out on your own.
You know what's funny? I also wanted to prove that I could do a round of porn star interviews and then not fuck them. Because this is what comedians come with. They go, oh, so do you fuck all your guests? Like, why would you start this show? And like, that's the dumb dude toxic thought. Yeah. And so I was like, I fuck no one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess I lost little comedian man.
You did.
I'll accept that.
That's okay.
I'll accept that. Who thought I could literally, like, take Alexis Fox's 1 million followers by doing one episode with her? That's what I thought in my head. Wait, so did we do your long-term goal?
I don't think we even did the medium goal. Oh, no, the medium goal was to connect with my fans more via TikTok and social media.
TikTok.
Long-term goal, like I said, I think I really want to help models, the new models, because it's a formula. Like, the way that you look on camera, everybody's body, the way that you move it, does not look good on camera. You have to do it a little bit differently. You have to know your angles, and that's really what it comes down to. So I think my real passion is connecting with new models and helping them feel a part of this industry and helping them stand on their own 2 feet and not feel like they have to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So that's really my true passion, is like helping new models not get taken advantage of.
I like that.
So, whatever capacity that ends up being in
What do you want to call it? Model consultant? Does it exist?
I don't think it does.
All right.
Now, you know, I feel like a lot of girls, veteran girls in the industry, are like, my DMs are open, but that's such a big step for a new model to contact somebody with 500,000 followers and be like, hi, I'm brand new. Any advice?
What do I do?
You know, so I think having somebody that's kind of pre-packaged and brought to you on set is more the goal.
Yeah, a friend of mine is like he's like an actor consultant, and he's just there for. It started like just like young kids like don't really know what to do for their thing, and they just want to need them on set in case.
Yeah.
And they work the scenes. So I think we all need that.
Yeah. Everybody can use a friend in their corner who's not looking to get any gain out of them.
Right. All right. You want to do a random lightning round? I'll just ask you random stuff. You have to pick.
Sure.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Lights on, lights off.
For sex?
It's up to your interpretation.
For sex, on. Generally off. I like to just open the windows and get whatever natural light's there. I feel like our rhythms are so determined by technology these days that sometimes like screens on all the time feels like it's earlier or later than it is, and I think it fucks us up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, all the fake light is fucking up birds.
Light pollution.
Okay, what's best documentary out of Joe or what's the name of the lady in Tampa? Carol. Joe or Carol Baskin? Joe Exotic or Carol Baskin? Did you not see the Tiger King?
No.
Okay, so skip that one. Lions or tigers?
I think lions.
What's the perfect size bed?
King. I don't care who you are. Single, married, single, occasionally, king. King. If you're an adult, do not have a full bed. If you're an adult woman, you may have a queen. Men, you must have a fucking king bed. Sorry, I just got very passionate about that.
Have you been in a California game?
I don't think so. I feel like people like promote their bed as California king, and I'm like, this doesn't feel any different. Is it supposed to be longer?
Every guy's 6 foot.
Is it supposed to be longer?
I don't know what it is, honestly. I really don't know.
I don't think I do either.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference between
California king bullshit.
I just know Shaq has a large bed because he's too tall.
I imagine he would have like a round bed that would have like satin red sheets.
I think he does.
I think
that's literally what it is. I don't know why you'd want a round bed. Have you ever been on a round bed?
No.
I don't know why that's good.
I think you can.
I think squares.
Like think about how you can fit
shape.
people. Like you can fit so many more people in a round thing.
Been used. Yeah, in like movies when it's like an orgy bed.
Right. But I think it's best when they have like a
You're just
square.
thinking about geometry.
I am.
But that's only if everybody lines up like a pizza slice.
But then when they're sleeping, they have to.
I guess so.
Right? Because it's really only about the sleeping that you need to worry about where the people are.
Okay, so round bed, 100 people, whatever it is. Head in the middle or head on the end?
Head's on the end, on the outside.
Feet in the middle.
Yeah.
Head hanging off.
Well, but like, I guess it depends on the
It's
circumference.
your design, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it would be.
Is your foot bigger than your head, or is your head bigger than your foot?
Well, I would want everybody's feet to come into the center so that we had more space for the upper body, you know, because I'm a side sleeper, I gotta turn over.
And I don't want shit touching my feet when I'm asleep, I don't know why.
Oh, I don't
freak
care
out.
About that.
I like hang my feet off the bed and like...
Oh, we could do like sardine style where it's like one
every other
head, feet,
every
feet,
other.
Head. Yeah.
I just figured out that's the best way to fold my clothes. Because then there's no clumps. Because if you do one, then there's always clumps.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the fold.
Yep.
Is reverse it, yeah.
But
sardine style.
Sardine style.
I didn't know that's how they got sardines in there.
Yeah.
I would have just said 69. I would have just.
I guess 69.
Sardine style. That's so fun.
I grew up eating sardines.
Did you?
I love sardines.
So sardines or anchovies?
Sardines.
What would you put sardines on that you shouldn't?
Nothing. I eat them out of the can.
Okay. In water or in oil?
Either.
Okay.
Oil.
Preference.
I feel like oil is a little bit tastier, but also more calories and.
So you're overthinking because you're like it's oil. I should just get water. You don't even need the oil.
You don't, because they're salty on there. Like the oil is really just a vehicle to get all the little fleshy pieces of the sardine onto whatever you're eating, a cracker or bread or whatever. But I want to go back to the bed thing because I really feel like the round bed needs a square base. So
that's what I'm saying.
And like a square base that has some padding on it so that you can like kneel on it and then the elbows on the bed.
It's funny that you say this. This is like I'm anti-bed frame across the board. Okay. And I'm not, this is not a...
So you like two mattresses on the floor?
This is not a boast. And it looks bad, but this is not a boast, but the amount of broken bed frames I've been a part of is...
Maybe too many IKEA bed frames.
Astronomical. No! I don't want to make this about me, but I'm anti-bed frame for a lot of reasons, and it's because there are injuries that can happen. You're saying so. You're saying padded the thing in the square with the round, because you have to fit in the negative space, and to be able to be places that you're not supposed to be. Because sometimes there's just stuff, like and there's corners where there shouldn't be, and you just end up with injuries. Sex injuries is like a real thing.
I totally believe that.
And so,
Sex sent me to the ER. Have you not seen that show?
I don't watch it.
Because you don't want to potentially maybe do that later.
Well, I think I almost. Because I wouldn't go to the ER. So I don't even believe I would just put.
But when it gets to the point where you have to go to the ER, that is where the show comes in.
I'll be honest. The only time I went to the only time I went to the ER during the pandemic was because my balls were numb, and I was like, we have to go right now. Like there was no question.
This is not normal.
This is not like I can wait.
This is not a drill.
We have to go right now. My balls don't feel like they're supposed to feel. They never got an answer. They really never got an answer.
Did they unnumb? I'm like staring right now.
So I started stretching more. So I was very inactive during the pandemic, and so I started stretching more. And so whatever stuff was like, because stuff was getting what's it called? Not stressed, but I wasn't as flexible. Everything was getting tight.
Yeah.
And so my back and all the things and just all the stuff that was already wrong was getting worse.
For sure, same.
And then I have a hernia that I knew I had. I had a hernia for like 5. I'm in like a really anti-medical space right now. I had a hernia for like a couple of years, and I was like, it hurts here when I go to the bathroom. It feels like something's trying to punch through. And they're like, you're wrong, blah blah blah. And then they just did one little thing. They did ultrasound, and they're like, you're fine. And then I was like, I'm not fine. And they're like, it's gas. I mean, it's not gas. And so 5 years, and then so finally, because of something else, I got all these other tests.
And they're like, did you know you have this hernia?
Hernia. You have this hernia. Yeah, I know.
I tried to tell the last guy.
Right. So now you know it's a hernia.
Check the medical records.
And then what's crazy is they go, but you don't need to fix it. It's actually worse if you fix it, because you don't really want mesh in your body.
Yeah,
so
I have a little hernia too. Yeah. They're like, if it doesn't hurt, don't worry about it.
And it doesn't hurt enough, I guess. It's like, how much? So I got a hernia here, and then because of this, I don't know. And I don't know if there's guys that need to hear this. One of my testicles was trying to go back up for like 8 months during the pandemic. It would just go back up.
I was like, I am done with this. We are done.
It would go back up because I think the hole opened back up. So my ball was trying to go back up. So I'd be like, and I was like, and I was partnered, and I was like, hang on.
I was partnered.
I'm like about to come, but my ball's up.
So I gotta push it back down.
I have to relax and let it fall back down,
and then hold it
so I can bust. Yeah, it was weird.
It's not easy being a man.
But it speaks to having believing in yourself and believing in your body and things that you know
your body.
And those things are true. It's like my ball is going.
That's so
away.
shitty that they didn't hear you. Doctors.
Well, during the pandemic also was a weird time for. But no,
they were like, you know what? You're fine. You don't have COVID. Get out of here.
Doctors don't hear anybody. They really, really don't. They just, and it's not their fault. The community is designed for you not to really get the help you're supposed to get. But again, pessimistic comedian. Nothing has a solution. Yeah.
It's okay. You're in therapy. Are we still in the lightning round?
Yeah, we can still be playing, but you want to go back to beds.
Well, I'm done with that.
So perfect bed round. So would you would get a king round bed, and then what would that be?
I don't think that they come in king or queen on the round bed. I think
it's just round.
It's just like.
And then you just pick a circle size.
Yeah, you just pick the circle.
Is it the circumference or the radius?
The diameter.
Yeah. Boom! Look at us.
I think it's diameter is the length across.
For sure.
Circumference is all the way around, and the radius is half.
Yeah, but radius, same thing.
Radius is double the diameter.
Pick the radius.
Half the diameter.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Kind of like the inseam. The inseam starts from my balls. It's like, why is it not the whole length? Because you don't need it. Use a radius, same amount of information.
Down.
Yeah, same amount of information.
Okay.
What was I going to say? So what else in the lightning round? Now I lost track. So wait. Okay, so let's see. Vegas or Florida?
Vegas.
Vegas or LA?
LA.
Okay.
That's controversial.
Vegas or Indiana? Everything's controversial.
Fucking Vegas. Indiana. Blech.
All right.
No, thank you.
Best. Okay, hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hot dogs.
Okay, really?
Not sexual, but hot dogs.
Yeah. Really?
Hamburgers, I feel like I can never finish a hamburger.
Really?
Yeah, and
I don't have these problems.
I'm
happy
lady.
to have this conversation.
I'm a little lady.
A tiny little lady.
I'm a tiny little lady. And I just love mustard and ketchup.
So regular hot dog, mustard, ketchup, not the foot long. We're just doing.
I mean, it could be a foot long if I'm extra hungry.
Yeah.
I don't like relish.
But once you get to foot long territory, you may as well have a hamburger.
But it's much easier to eat. It's much cleaner. It's not like slapping me in the face.
Interesting.
It's going straight down.
I feel like I can't get a hot dog without making a mess. If If I go hot dog, I'm getting...
What are you putting on it?
Whatever is on it is going on my pants. Whatever it is.
Like, if you're getting, like, a chili cheese dog,
bite
I
pressure,
understand.
because you're dealing with bite pressure on two, like, completely different surfaces. So you have to give enough bite pressure to get through the bun and break the thing, but not mangle all of it.
Okay, so the thing is, you got to eat a hot dog with 2 hands.
Okay.
You hold the back end, and you squeeze that so that it doesn't slide through when you bite it. And then you squeeze the front end as you bite so that you're pushing the bread inwards.
You're putting pressure on the dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
So nothing's sliding out of your hands.
So you're an all-American girl.
Yeah.
Just cheese on the hot dog?
Sure. But only nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese?
No shredded cheese. I fucking hate shredded cheese on nachos and shit. Like,
if
you're gonna call it nachos in the menu,
you like that whippy up goopy cheese?
Yeah, the goopy, that you like pump.
Yeah, the only way you like your cheese is if you can squirt it out of like a toothpaste thing.
For topping cheese, yes.
Okay.
I'm not into like the shredded cheese and then melted. No, fuck that shit.
Where do you put shredded cheese?
On a taco.
In your life, on a taco.
On a salad.
Shredded cheese on a salad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It belongs nowhere else.
All right. Fine. American...
In my mouth, just straight from the
so if you
bag.
So then have you had the Philly cheesesteak? That's that cheese.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Philly cheesesteak.
Really?
I've had it, but it's not really my.
You like hot dogs. You like nacho cheese. This seems like this should be your sandwich. You have to give it another chance.
Maybe.
People are yelling right now at the screen.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
funny. We don't want Polly for, and then we're like hot dogs. Like fuck. The littlest things upset the most people. Okay, what's the best country that makes cars?
That makes cigars?
Cars. Automobiles.
Germany.
Germany. Okay, that says a lot. I know who you are. Yeah. Okay. What else? Okay. Best. Well, these aren't one of the others now. I'm still stuck on hot dogs. It's so funny. Okay, so what's your go-to if you go somewhere you've never been before? What restaurant are you trying to find?
Chain?
What like kind of? Well, maybe sure.
Oh,
you go to a chain?
Yeah, I mean chains are tried and true. Like Outback is probably my favorite chain. I love the salmon. I don't know what it is. The salmon with broccoli and lemon. That's my thing.
Really?
It's an easy meal. I know it's relatively healthy anywhere you get it. And
so salmon skin or no skin?
Skin.
Okay. So
crispy. It's got to be crispy though. If it's just
I can't eat salmon at a restaurant anymore because I'm so good at making it.
Yeah.
And it's not consistent.
Yeah,
anymore.
You're right.
Frustrates me. Okay, wait. So is there seafood that you won't do?
I'm not a big fan of lobster, but like I'll eat it if it's part of something. But I'm not gonna like order lobster.
Yeah, it's an insect.
It's really the only thing I'm kind of like meh on.
Yeah. Okay. You eat an octopus.
Mm-hmm.
You eat a calamari. Mm-hmm. What seafood won't you eat raw?
Really anything. Like I'm not much of a tuna, and I don't love sushi.
Really?
Not raw stuff. Like I'll eat like
salmon. For me, is just as good. Raw, no skin.
Really?
As it is skin cooked. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different kind of salmon though, so don't just like get the grocery store salmon and eat it raw. That's not the same. There's like sushi grade salmon.
Yeah, that's true. That might be true. I think
salmon. For you people at home, don't eat just random
Don't just
raw
take
salmon.
a bite. Don't catch a fish in the ocean and then take a bite out of it.
That actually probably would be fine.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What's the thing that you think you know more about than most people besides
grammar?
Grammar. Okay, sure. Now, have you done all the things we talked about when we first met? You want to do grammar Nazi porn.
Grammar Nazi.
I'm making it aggressive. Grammar. It's friendly.
Right. I think you're right.
What?
Aw, baby Lexi.
Yeah, that's one of the first things we talked about, which is why the next time we did an episode, I did like a spelling bee with you.
Yeah.
What have you done that? I knew you were talking about it.
No.
Have you done that? You haven't done it yet.
No, I've kind of calmed down on the grammar thing because language evolves and people, as long as you can understand what people are communicating, you're good. But I do silently correct people, so it's just not really like, I'm not like in your face about it anymore.
Nice.
But I did have a fan who bought me a hat that says YOU''RE and it has an asterisk next to it because it's like constantly correcting your.
It's great. I like that. Yeah, I think I do this thing where if, especially if it's somebody who needs to be educated to a certain extent, if they start bad grammaring me, I like immediately dismiss them as a thing. Yeah, it's like I'm sorry, you're looking at my X-ray right now, and you just said this thing.
Yeah, right.
So we made up a word the other day. I was on the phone with like a new therapist, and they made up a word, and I was like, I called back at the front. I called the switchboard. I was like, I need another person. This is not a word. They made up a word. You can make up a word.
We make up words all the time. Just because they're not official words doesn't mean they're not communicating what you want to hear.
That might be true. But
You got another word.
The thing I've been noticing more lately is that people don't know how to use I versus me.
Okay.
People say I for everything. Like
myself.
Like,
I, me, myself are those like the tricky ones, right?
Yeah, people will say,
teach us.
Like,
right to camera.
Yeah,
teach us.
I'm trying to think of like a
Have you done teacher MILF though? Yeah. And then the concept of MILF is, you said it's a power dynamic where you're in power for most of the most stuff. And so you get to
teaching the boy or helping him achieve, or helping me achieve a fantasy through him.
Right.
Is more what it is. It's not really about him.
Right.
As is most porn.
Right.
Not about the male.
So, do you believe in this, like porn for women? This idea that there's like different porn for women. Would you make stuff that's just for women?
I would, but I don't think I would know how to make it. Like, I would need some guidance because for me, the thing that's hot is the woman in charge.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's hot for me if it's a woman on woman in charge.
Sure. Yeah, and then the porn for women is some of it just the guy just taking. Because there are people that just don't want to have to make a decision. Like, that's like a big thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, can I just not have to fucking decide tonight?
Yeah, and that's fun. But some people live that as a lifestyle, and some people live that as a kink, as like a little sprinkle into the fun.
And then some do both because they're in this power, so they want this power later.
Right.
So to camera, how do I use me, I, or myself?
Okay, so the way that you know is by taking out the subject. So if you take out, like, Charles and I, or Charles and me are going. You take out Charles. So it's me are going, or like me is going, or I am going.
So when is me?
When it sounds right. So Charles and I are going to the store. Or Charles and me are going to the store. I am going to the store. Or me am going to the store. Which one sounds right? I am going to the store. So it's Charles and I.
So then when do you use me?
So me is same deal. Lacey, I'm going to the store. Let me think.
Who was the? How many people were?
Mom is giving a treat to Lacey and I. Mom is giving a treat to Lacey and me. So you take out the subject. Mom is giving a treat to I. Mom is giving a treat to me. So it's Mom is giving a treat to Lacey and me.
Who's Lacey? This sounds great.
I don't know. I want Lacey's treat.
Lacey? Wait, do you have animals?
I don't. I'm too busy to give a fair amount of attention.
People feel that way.
I love to love on all the animals I see in the world. Like, I will roll my window down and hang out with dogs at the red light. And I'm like, I love your dog.
This is an LA way to view it. Because I was like, why are you still?
I was like,
why are you still in the car? No, because I have a thing now where if I see a puppy.
Oh yeah, because you don't drive here.
Yeah. So if I see a puppy, I've been like, if I see a puppy and I'm walking down the street, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying because there's a puppy.
Exactly.
Right, I can't do anything else if there's a puppy. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to meet this puppy in 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Like, where even is the puppy? And then I'll get low and I have to meet the puppy.
I love them. They're so sweet, and I just love animals, all kinds, but I also want to love one and like give it all my attention and all my love, and I don't have that to give right now. And maybe in the future I will, and maybe I'll adopt a dog that's, later in life.
I like that this is still lining up with the poly thing, and that was the analogy, and that's what it is, and it works on the end. Okay, wait. So mountains or beach?
Mountains.
City or country?
City. You don't have to say anything else.
You wouldn't live in the country?
Never. Too fucking quiet. It's too quiet. There's not enough grocery stores around. I need to have my creature comforts within 15 minutes.
Outback Steakhouse. What else? High floor or low floor?
High floor.
What else? What else do I want to give you? Cold or hot?
Depends. If it is food, hot.
You're a person.
If I need to be warm.
You need to be warm. You get cold easily.
I can visit the cold, but I cannot live in the cold or be like in the cold for an undefined amount of time because my body like stresses out. It's like, when are we gonna be warm? like if I'm living in an area that's cold.
That you're going someplace cold for 7 days.
For 7 days, I can prep for that. But if the trip gets extended because the snowstorm came in, I'm like, oh no! I only brought 7 days of warm clothes.
Yeah. Wait, so how many bags does it take you to travel?
It depends on the length. If I'm
That's what I mean. So is there a day to outfits?
A week or less. I can get away with 1 checked bag.
Yeah.
No carry-ons.
1 week. How long are you here?
So I'm in a couple different places, so it's a total of 14 days.
How many bags?
4.
4 bags.
1 bag half empty so that I can shop and bring things home.
Okay.
You know, planning ahead.
Did I ever tell you my favorite, like the thing that I want, like the only thing I want out of affluence? Did I ever tell you this? All I want is to travel with nothing.
That's so
I want to show up, have like, and then with Amazon, it's like I can show up, have a package at the hotel with the clothes that I want to wear for the thing, and then when I'm done, either just, I would like to be in a position where I could just sell everything. I could sell my panties and like make money on the way home. Or just throw them out because it's fine because I don't have money to consume it. Or
that's very wasteful.
Maybe. Fine. I'll
Not
walk.
maybe.
Fine.
It is.
Fine. I'll give my shoes to a homeless guy.
Yes, that is
so
much better than just, I'll just throw away these underwear.
I don't think I mean throw away. But I want to be able to, I want to be able to travel empty. That's what I want to be able to do.
That's pretty cool.
I really want that.
I feel like that's much more attainable in the U.S. than it is outside the country.
Why?
Well, because you never know what you might need outside the country. And
you have this fear.
I do.
I travel so light, so much that it really doesn't matter. And then I figured out that like return policies are so good. Like so, I went to AVN not knowing if I could get to if I could go to the show.
Yeah.
And then so I just bought my outfit, and then I fucking returned it. That's what I did.
That's the beauty of it. And that's not the same in other countries.
Maybe. I don't have that fear. I'm like, I'll go to South. I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
I'll figure out how to wear pants.
That's such a man approach.
I know, but it actually.
Girls are like, oh my gosh, what if they don't have my foundation shade?
Yeah.
What if they don't have my eyelashes?
Yeah. Fine. It's easier to be a man sometimes.
Sometimes.
Unless you have a hernia and no one wants to tell you that you have one.
And then your ball's gonna.
That's the thing. So like, by the way, ultrasound is not good for anything. So they ultrasound my balls.
It's good for finding babies.
Right, so they ultrasounded, they didn't find the hernia, and then they ultrasounded my balls, and they're like, your balls are fine. I was like, they're not fine, they're numb. And they like sent me home. And I was like, this
Maybe
is
that's when the hernia started.
No, the hernia was...
prior to the ultrasound?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do think that they're related, but what do I know? Doctors, please chime in, I don't know. I like it when the
no doctors are watching this.
I hope, maybe.
No.
You don't think doctors are porn friendly?
I think they're porn. Well, it depends.
Yeah.
But I think they're porn friendly. But like, this is not what they're watching in their free time.
Is there a target market that you think porn misses?
I think there is a target market that porn overemphasizes, and that is the 18 to 24-year-old category.
Yeah.
But
dudes with hard-ons who don't know how to be gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's me talking.
You're like, that's me category.
It's me.
That's me category.
No, that's not who I am. That's just been my experience.
That's a very interesting question, Dan Frigolette. I think that there are many categories these days, so there will be many that will get missed because we're just not creating content for everybody. So because I'm creating content for the 18 to 24-year-olds because those are my fans. Yeah. For the most part, like every now and then, I'll get some people who different age ranges.
So we can say for sure, we can say like definitively, like on the face of it, we're not making content for ultra religious people of any religion, right?
Right.
Even though some of those people are still in the basement.
Right, and some religious people are also into MILF porn, so you know, they fit into multiple categories, and they may not see that their ultra religion portion of themselves is something that they want to have in the porn world.
That's interesting. Also because anything that's ultra anything, there's little loopholes, right? So it's like as long as they're married, I can watch them, right? Like it's like this little
as long as the drink is watered down, I'm still a Mormon.
Right. Whatever.
Have you heard of the? Oh, I have to tell.
It's too much.
No, I've heard of this term called soaking in the Mormon religion,
what does that mean?
where they insert the penis into the vagina, but they don't move. So as long as you're not thrusting, it's not sex. So they're still virgins.
I'll do that.
And then they have friends come and move the bed, and then they're
no.
Yes.
That's not really what happens.
No, I promise you. I read an article about this.
So it's a loophole.
It's a loophole.
They're not fucking.
Their friends are fucking them, which just sounds way more intense than what it is. But
It's
they're
way
shaking
more,
the bed so
worse.
that they're moving, but the two people
but
aren't.
It's justification.
Physically,
It's like being ultra Christian and giving up your butt but won't give up your vagina.
Yes.
I do like those little things. I like those weird little loopholes. It's like you'd rather have 11 people in the room while you not fuck your wife.
Girlfriend, because they're not married. If they were married, it would be fine.
That's why. So you can put it in.
But you can't move it.
Can't move it. Because, what's the loophole they're doing? Why can you put it in?
Because
it's not sex.
It's not sex.
It's not sex. Penetration itself isn't sex.
Penetration, I guess, isn't sex, but it's the movement in and out and the orgasm, I guess. I don't know.
Here's a good question. How do you know you're having sex? If penetration isn't sex, And it isn't, and right, and it's like mouth sex is sex or isn't sex.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you know you're having sex? and then so many people can have sex without really having sex. Because I've been dry humped, and someone got off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sex. So how do you know you're having sex?
That's very interesting.
Let's define it.
I don't know if I can.
I know that's the loop.
Because you would think it would be penetration.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
like touching of the genitals.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hard.
It is.
It's
very.
porn star. I have to define
I know.
sex.
I know nothing. I like. Do you play that card?
What card?
Do you get to play that card? You're like, what do I know?
What do I know? I'm just a porn. I don't really feel like I can play that card because the point where I might play that card, I've already shown too much of myself.
Right.
So they're like, you're full of shit.
It is interesting. It's like, so like the thing that you have now with your entire career is a thing like a comedian has or a performer has from when they get on stage to the end. You cannot show a different thing. And as long as you're consistent, like I had to tell comedians at certain points in time where like they were like, oh, but I have all these jokes about being married. So like I'm going to be dishonest to the crowd.
And tell them I'm married.
No, you tell your married jokes at the beginning. And then you tell your I'm getting divorced jokes in the middle, and then you tell your I'm single stuff after, and then it makes sense to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we know your whole journey, and then you're honest as part of it. Because if you try to move it around that you're married, your girlfriend, whatever, that seems inconsistent.
Then you're like, wait, wasn't he married? Why is he talking about a girlfriend?
So your perspective just needs to stay consistent
you gotta tell the
throughout.
story of your life.
And so if you can't be dumb at the beginning of the show and then be smart at the end.
Right.
It's what you're speaking to.
And honestly, I don't think that. I always use it as just comic relief when I do that kind of thing. So it's not like
being sarcastic
really
or facetious about it is also fun.
For sure.
All right.
Look at how big your shoes are.
Thank you.
Look at my tiny little girl foot
Thank
in here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Boom.
Like you would not think that. Look at that.
My foot's weird too. So like all these masculinity issues are fun, and it's interesting because I'm speaking to people on the boy side. That's what I'm saying it to not offend anyone. Boy side, and so like there's people on the boy side who like had to fight against masculinity, who have all of the things that you think people who like we think are masculine should have, but because they were like marginalized or were closeted, they didn't ever feel that thing. So masculinity is such a weird, funny thing. This thing where guys are like, oh, I'm 6 foot. I watched these two guys fight over being 6 foot. Neither of them was. My first day of college, and I was like, I'm never going to tell me I'm 6 foot, whether I am or not.
This is not worth it.
It's awful. Yeah, and like I don't want to be in that. We're going to stand back to back. It's like I don't want to be that.
Oh,
so my foot is so my feet are all the tendons on the top are so tight that when I'm not, there's no pressure on my foot. It's smaller. So when I step down, it spreads out like a foot.
I see that.
And so people be like, your foot, that's not the size of your foot. And it's like, cool, whatever size you want my foot to be, let's do that. But there's so many things that we fight about and to try to tell other people what their thing is.
Because we're all just trying to fit in.
So when I tell you that my shoe size is 12, believe me.
Now I want to look at the shoe size.
And get a puppy. Well, that's a 12. And get a puppy.
Don't get a puppy.
Get a puppy.
No, you should get an older dog. And be like the hospice
Oh,
for
we're
that
gonna
dog.
Oh, now we're doing a Bob Barker
Let me tell you how I'm hospice for flowers.
Hospice for flowers. People do this. People go to Home Depot and they go to the rehab section, and they buy the $5 flowers. Are you that person?
I'm not that person.
Okay.
So I started in the pandemic, as everyone did, loving plants and being like more into
I'm unoriginal now that I have a Monstera plant. It's because of the pandemic.
No, it totally is.
Okay.
Totally is. Well, for me, it was because I didn't have anything to do. I was in California at the time, beautiful weather. Like, I had time to garden. I had a little balcony. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So I went to the gardening store and I bought a bunch of stuff and it all fucking died.
Yeah, I mean.
But the thing that I also learned during the pandemic is that I'm very good at arranging flowers, like cut flowers, like that you get at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So I would get a couple bouquets and I would take it all apart. I'd clean them all up. I'd get all I'd trim down their leaves. And
you like get daisies. You
do
got to pull the leaves off.
Yeah, you got to do all
the
the
leaves just die in the water.
And it molds.
And then the flowers die faster.
Yeah. So I would arrange them really pretty. I would cut them really short and make them really short into the stem of the vase.
Short.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I see people they don't cut their flowers, just stick it out. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and that is also a technique because then as the days go on, you can trim them down more and make them a little bit lower.
Question. I know how to keep daisies alive. Gerber daisies is what I buy for a woman because those things stick around for like 20 days if you cut them right and put them in. What I hate roses because they last like 8 minutes.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
How do I keep a rose alive?
It's really tricky. So what I bought was this stuff. It's called Crystal Bloom, and I get it on Amazon, and it's just like a liquid that you put in with the water. It's better than the powder, in my opinion, that they give you with the flowers. Sure. But the trick is really you got to change the water often.
Okay.
And you got to keep trimming them down. So you'll notice as they've been sitting in the water, the bottom like 2 inches of the flower, it gets like brownish. Yeah. You got to keep trimming that off, and that's why you start them longer, and then you trim them down, and then you can.
So you just keep putting them in different vases.
You can put them in the same vase. You just got to dump out the water, trim down the rose, put new water in, new water.
But pretty much across the board, fuck roses.
Yeah, fuck roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carnations are great. They last a long time. Daisies are pretty. Some lilies are great, and then there are some some flowers that have a lot of pollen in them. Yeah. So I cut out the pollinators because
you do.
Yeah, I do.
So like like what are they? Are they lilies?
I think they're lilies that
and they
have like those little round pieces. Yeah.
And it falls off. So you cut that off.
I cut that
off.
It's
fine.
Because it's fine. I mean, you've already cut the flower from the stem, so it's already dying.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I'm hospice for flowers, because all flowers come to my house to die. But I give them a great life until they do, and they look pretty, and they're arranged, and they're with their friends.
Yeah, they're with their friends. How funny. Okay, so go-to flower at the store.
Whatever the cheapest bouquet is. To be honest, I get a couple of them because there are some throwaway flowers in there, and then you could just rearrange a couple different ones. And then I use little mason jars too, so I put like 2 or 3 flowers in there, and like different heights and vary it a little bit.
Well, I want photos. I want flower photos.
I got one for you.
That could be your TikTok.
I thought about it, but then I'm like, do I really want this 80-year-old hobby?
You think it's for old people?
I think it's for elderly women who are.
I think it's because you're looking at it like they're gonna die, but I think people want to arrange flowers. I don't think because who's bringing old ladies flowers?
Young men.
Okay.
Right.
Like they're grand people.
Yeah, or like we think about like in a nursing home.
The amount of alive old women I've brought flowers to is minimal. The amount of the amount of people that I brought flowers to that were closer to my age is a lot.
Yeah, but they don't appreciate it the same way as I think the elderly ladies would.
Maybe. Maybe.
They're like, oh, fuck these flowers. Of course he got me flowers. So cliche. He has to.
I won't do apology flowers. I give. You did not expect I was going to give you flowers.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really important to me.
Yeah. Also, the flower.
By the way, give men flowers. I want flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's giving me flowers. I want flowers way more often than I'm getting flowers. Yeah.
I'll teach you how to arrange them, and you can have like.
So it's the second thing. I'm with you. It's the second thing. Like if I was ever gonna figure it out, I was gonna buy my mom like a flower shop. I think it'd be fun for her to do.
Fun.
Yeah. And then if she can afford it, fine. We'll just hire people. But like it's fun. It's fucking fun.
Yeah.
And now that in Florida, everything grows in Florida. When I was down there, I would be like, what the hell does that? Like you put a plant outside, and then it's like a whole thing.
It's because it rains a lot, and the phosphorus in the rain really helps the flowers grow.
Florida. There's things in Florida has things that shouldn't even be plants. Florida doesn't want humans to be there. It wants plants because everything in Florida, like there's sawgrass.
Yeah. There's
grass that will cut you open. Everything in Florida is either like poisonous or has like prickers on it. It doesn't want you to be there.
It's not for you.
There should be no people in Florida.
Agree.
All right, let's leave.
Cut it off, saw it off like Bugs Bunny did.
Yeah. What did he saw?
Remember Bugs Bunny sawed off Florida at the...
Oh, did he?
Remember?
No!
I'll have to show you.
No, I'm very happy with that. I just remember he kept fucking up Albuquerque journeys.
Yeah. So left at Albuquerque.
Here's a question. Were cartoons smarter when we were kids?
No, we just didn't have any other experiences.
Okay.
Like we didn't... There were really only a couple cartoons.
I like your perspective on everything. We're the opposite. I go, everything was better. That's the age I'm at.
And I'm like, we didn't have enough experience.
Yeah, everything was better. And it really was. I was ignorant and naive, and that's why the world was great. And now I know stuff.
And that's what I'm saying. That alludes to my thing earlier.
Yeah.
The world changes because we age.
Yeah. Interesting.
We just brought it back around.
Interesting perspective. We've come full circle a couple times actually.
No, I think it's time to be done.
Let's go. Replug all your stuff.
Twitter, Lexi Luna XOXO. Instagram, Beyond Lexpectations.
That's such a good one.
And everything else at iwantlexi.com.
What's your TikTok gonna be?
I think it's Lexi Luna or Lexi Luna XOXO. I don't know.
I like Beyond Lexpectations so much.
I will give credit to Johnny Goodluck who came up with that name for me, so thank you.
That's such a good name.
I've lost like 5 counts, so I had to get more creative than the real Lexi Luna.
Right. Did you plug OnlyFans? What's the best way for us to pay for your stuff?
iwantlexi.com has a list of all the different ways you can contact me, and OnlyFans, Loyal Fans, Sex Panther, any platform that you want to communicate with me on.
Perfect. And we have to look forward to this DVD project.
DVD project, my sex doll is out, LexiLunaDoll.com.
And my hope is really that people in the industry are watching and listening. And so if you have some advice that you need,
hit me up.
Can you give advice to a man who wants to put his body in the correct position? Or is it totally different?
I mean, I probably could, yeah, because, it's really tricky, though, because I don't know how a penis works. I can tell a girl because I kind of know how vaginas work.
Somehow people still don't know how penises work. I think half of everybody doesn't know. I think women and men don't really know how penises work.
Yeah, I do give advice to male talent, especially new male talent, when I'm working with them on set, and because that's honestly the easiest time because they're in it right then.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, if you just move your hand here, like they'll be able to see.
They can see.
The camera can see more.
Yeah, great. All the things. This is gonna. I didn't realize we were talking so long. I really enjoy talking to you. An hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, this is going to be like 3 episodes. So check her out. Listen to this podcast. Wherever you listen to it, we're on the other thing. We have some stuff today on a comically small couch on YouTube.
He's sinking. Look like you can no longer see my cleavage.
And your fans are not going to be my fans, but I have an OnlyFans. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's just Danny Friggs.
Danny Friggs.
Like, what do I have on there?
No, both.
Yeah, Danny
Friggs. So it's OnlyFans.com/
Danny Friggs.
How do you spell it?
DANNYFRIGS.
Okay, see, I would have thought it would be GGS, Friggs.
No, there's only one G in the Frigolette.
Really?
Yeah, 2 T's, 1 G.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't know what to really put on there, so I'm just like putting more and more of me and more and more of
masturbate.
Me. Boy, girl.
I'm
doing boy, girl stuff now.
Great.
We're doing what I can. Because I was putting comedy on there, and then
nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
No, they all want to see your dick.
We need a Only Laughs. OnlyLaughs.com. I'm going to start. Thanks for listening, guys, for watching. Next week we'll have another episode. Every Sunday we drop one.